Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Hello, everyone, and what's going on? Welcome to episode number 103 of TXR, the Xbox Roundtable, your place on a Sunday to just kick back, pop a cold one, and chill. I am your host, Invader, and of course, I'm really looking forward to tonight's show because there's been so much news going on over the past week or so, and it's going to be really hard just to fit everything in. However, before we do that, I just want to wish everybody, my fellow Canadians, a happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone's having a wonderful long weekend, having lots of fun, enjoying lots of turkey and, lots of festivities, but be responsible, everyone. Now, let's introduce tonight's panel. Tim, are you ready to dive into all the topics tonight?
Ready to dive in, ready, willing to go. Sunday night, it's a great time. Downer and south of here, that's a real nice thing. I think I've seen it like twice in 2 years, but happy to see it.
Did you pull the Yeti out, buddy? Did you pull it out?
I have the Yeti out, so you know I'm serious when the Yeti's out.
All right, all right.
Get down.
Jeremy, you looking to piss off Tim tonight?
Negative. I love that guy. He's swell.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. South, buddy, how you been?
I've been all right, man. You know, the toes a little bit hurt, but it's all right. You know, I'm doing okay. Yeah, I just happy to be back, man. I love you guys, and TXR is my baby. So, what's good? Let's talk.
All right. Centurion, how's things?
Pretty good. Excited to be here and ready to chat about Xbox and everything that's going on. And just been living on Destiny. I have probably played more Destiny than I have in like all of last year.
Absolutely, yeah. Destiny, lots of people playing that lately on my friends list. And let's see, Shock, are you ready to get electric with these topics tonight?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I am. A lot of
don't sound
too all shy. Get all shy.
Excited. But yeah, I've been jumping on that Destiny 2 recently. See, I haven't been on it in a year, so it seems a lot different.
All right. Well, we'll see if Megatron pops in. But before we begin, I would like to announce a giveaway for this show. I've got a code for 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and I really want to give this away to one of our viewers tonight. So keep listening in and wait for me to ask the giveaway question. The first person in the chat to answer correctly wins. Got it? Good. Now, on to the first topic on the docket. And a few days ago, in a sudden announcement, Xbox VP Mike Ybarra stated in a tweet that he's leaving the company. Mike spent 20 years with the company, started out as a systems engineer, then moved his way up the ranks before becoming Xbox's partner studio manager. He then made his way to the role of vice president of program management of Xbox before moving on to the vice president role. Now, obviously, this is a big shock as Mike was a pretty popular guy in Xbox and always interacting with the Xbox fans. And it seems like, all companies are having high-profile people leave these days. So, guys, what are your thoughts on Mikey leaving? Open this up to anybody.
Man, I mean, I wish Mike, continued success, obviously, but I'd be lying if, I said it wasn't a huge loss for Xbox. But Mike, Mike's a highly intelligent guy, and whoever's going to get him is, it's going to be great that they have him. He's very passionate about gaming. Who knows where he's going, but I think
speculation is running wild right now where he's going.
But I think at first I was like, dude, after 20 years, you leave Microsoft, Xbox, what are you doing? And I understand maybe he left for a higher paying job or a better position, but you don't leave a job like that. Then I thought to myself, myself wanting different life challenges and, leaving my company after 8 years with two of my high ranking positions. I think, I think it's going to be a good move for him. I think he's ready for the challenge, but I wish him the best. I think some of us had the privilege of spending some quality time with Mike, Tim, South. Mike was a nice, classy guy. He's a good guy. And this one's going to hurt, I think. Some of us are surprised, obviously, with the large shift in the talent, but I'm not. You know, you have Apple and Google making some serious moves, and then I think you're going to see Amazon come into the fold here soon. But I mean, I'm not really
Mhm.
surprised by all these moves. You know, you got the I think was the co-founder of Mixer, right? Did he leave?
Both of
Ac-
them did.
Actually,
Yeah.
two of them did. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
both of them
Oh,
did.
I didn't know this. Who Matt
Yeah,
left?
they both left. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Matt
Well, they got
Mendy
their
and
multi
James
millions out,
Bone.
so yeah, they got their
Wow.
millions out of it.
Yeah, but I mean, this one's gonna hurt, guys. I know Tim could vouch and Sal could vouch for this. This one's gonna hurt Xbox.
Yeah, for sure.
Mike's a talented guy, so
Mhm.
Mike's a somebody who understands technology too, at a certain capacity where I think that he helped Xbox get powerful, like with Xbox One X. He pushed for that. He loves power. Um, for me, it's it's kind of bittersweet. He's a great guy. Somebody that I've talked to a lot, and you could say he kind of became friends with on a certain level. But I'm not going to stop being his friend, because he's leaving Xbox. It's just part of life. This is part of progression. I think for him, he wants more of a challenge. He wants to test himself. He's very driven. He's very, he wants to go places. And, I think that wherever he's going, probably saw an opportunity to grow. Um, Mike's not going away. He's going to be probably more and more prevalent. Who knows? I mean, I hope he comes on the show, and maybe one day talks about it, or just has an idea, or just even him doing a podcast himself. He can now do that. You know what I mean? This opens up a lot of things for him. He doesn't have to. He could say what he kind of wants. He kind of writes his own checks now in a way. You know what I mean? If he could be himself, where I think that sometimes with being with a big corporation, sometimes that stunts you where you can't really podcast, you can't have opinions, things that you take are taken out of context.
Yeah, but you remember, Mike would say stuff that he really didn't care too much. He was off the cuff several times, so it wasn't like he was that restricted.
But
he had a position where if you wanted to say something, obviously he
I'm
could.
not saying that's the reason why he left, but I'm just saying that type of stuff. There's open avenues now. I feel more with him, and I think he's going to do wherever he goes. He's going to do very well, and we're not going to stop talking to him, and hopefully one day he comes on the podcast.
You know what? He's still a great guy, regardless. And I think the biggest part is the community aspect of his job, because he was out there on Twitter, gaming with people, just interacting with everybody.
In real life too, he was very
no, exactly. He showed up with a smile on his face, and he talked to everybody, all the fans. Any questions they had. Obviously, he never said anything important, but he was a cool guy, and I'm sad to see him leave. But I personally think that he needed to challenge himself more. I think they were pushing him up the ladder too high, where he really wasn't getting his hands dirty like he really wants to. And that's just my opinion. I think that he really wanted to have his hands in the dirt and work, not just be like an executive level.
Yeah. I think there's some truth to that, because I mean, again, why would you leave Microsoft, Xbox after 20 years? And I looked at him like, Mike's already a millionaire. I mean, you think about it, he's already a millionaire. He has obviously stocks in Microsoft and a lot of money already saved up. So I mean, I think he's ready for a new challenge. I think he's driven by that, and again, I wish him continued success. So we love you, Mike.
We all do.
We love you, Mike. Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, it doesn't end though. We're all gonna be, still talking to Mike, and so
it's not like he's dead or anything. It's just he's moving on to a new challenge,
right? But he's still in a way going to be a part of the community. He might not be, a vocal point for Xbox, but he could still talk gaming. I remember the one thing when he had the thing with what was the game BioWare just made, Anthem, and he made a comment, and he really liked the game, but he was talking about himself being, agreeing with some of the critics are just taking fly by nights at it. And he got involved with that controversy, but people were saying he was an Xbox fanboy. And I'm like, no, you don't know Mike. Mike just loves games like that. He loves, that's the way he truly feels. And, they were trying to say it was an Xbox thing when it wasn't. And people that knew Mike, and I tweeted about it, know that that's not, the case. He was a good guy. He's wherever he's going to go is going to, be huge. He's going to be
Amazon.
Wherever.
Yeah, it's possible. It'll be interesting to see it maybe in the next week or two or month or whatever, what Mike has in store for himself. But again, I wish him the best of luck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just interesting though with all the activity going on because Mike leaves, very high profile, and of course I wish him all the best. Mike's a good guy, but again, you also have those the co-founders of Beam or Mixer, if you will, Matt Salsamendi and James Bone. Those guys are going on to other opportunities. Like, there's a lot of shift in the industry right now. Like, why all of a sudden exodus of staff?
Well, if you think of, literally, Apple, Google, and Amazon have openings that need to be filled. These guys are they're hiring hot and heavy, and they need the talent. So, there's the industry's crazy.
Well, remember these guys are in their early 20s.
Yeah.
So they already got millions in the bank, multi-millions in the bank. So really, they sold their baby to a corporation, so their baby basically just got totally rearranged. It's not their baby anymore. So at the end of the day, you feel like you don't have the grasp on your creation. So you, in my opinion, you would get frustrated, like, well, what the hell? This isn't what we started. This isn't what we envisioned. Everything's twisted now. So you get further and further pushed out from the updates and changing things, and at one point you're like, you know what, I don't even recognize this thing anymore. So I just gotta bounce.
Yeah, absolutely. Shizno Elite made a good comment here. It's a new gen coming, and these companies are just getting ready. So there's a lot of talent leaving, obviously, and they're going on like all these companies like Google for Google Stadia, Amazon, like they're attracting Apple. Like they're all attracting other talent and so on.
Think about it, Invader. 2020 is going to be the biggest year in gaming ever. You have the new consoles coming out. You have Stadia, Google getting in the ring. You have Apple getting in the ring. And potentially Amazon, whatever they're going to do. It's going to be insane 2020. It's probably going to be, it's going to break tons of records. And you're going to see, just all around gaming goodness going forward.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Centurion, do you have any thoughts on the matter?
Oh, yeah, I have plenty of thoughts. I've even wanted to make the joke that Sean Layden and Mike Ybarra are just trading places, but no. With all
I doubt that.
With all these companies getting involved, we're probably going to start having like gamer drafts and trades and all this stuff.
It's like poaching wars. It's crazy.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
I don't mean to go off subject, but Tim, how about those fucking Jets looking like Super Bowl contenders today? What's up with that?
Oh my god! And we just lost.
If we're really talking about football, let's get my Niners, baby. They just rolled.
They look good.
But that defense, baby.
No, I was just gonna finish off with. Sorry to interrupt him, but I just wanted to point out, like with Mike Ybarra leaving, for starters, I really do think it is a loss for the company, not because of his position or what he's done for the company. He has been really engaged with the community. I thought it was really awesome when I saw him appear on RDX with you, Tim Dog, and Dealer. Everybody, I'll be upfront. I have been listening to podcasts for a few years. I'm pretty sure executives do it, but that was my first time ever hearing an executive kind of, come out from behind the curtain and hopping on a podcast and actually answering a couple rounds of questions. he was very engaged with the community, and
Well, it showed his passion for gaming in general.
oh yeah, well, his passion for gaming and his engagement with the community showed through on how he didn't want the world to find out he was moving on through some random tweet on a Tuesday like the other guys did. He wanted to put it out himself. He wanted to kind of just like let everybody know and be part of it, and he even let everybody know on Twitter saying that he's going to be further engaged and let them know what ventures are coming his way soon. So he understands that he has interacted with the community and plays a big part in this community.
Well, you probably don't know this, Centurion, but Mike's actually an introvert.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and gaming's helped him in a way, you know. And
no, I wish I could get to know him like you guys have. Like, I mean, like, I'll be up front. You know, we're on that RDX Twitter group, and you guys have been exchanging photos of you guys sitting down and hanging out with some of the executives, especially Mike Ybarra. And I'm just like, man, to be able to meet some of these guys would be absolutely friggin' awesome.
It'll happen for you.
Oh, I know. I know. I'm just saying, like, you guys, I mean, you know, that's why I mean to say
great.
someone's an introvert, I would never pick up on that. But the fact that you guys have, you know, met them and actually been able to physically interact with them is on a whole nother level. You know, when you see somebody appear in a public appearance, whether it's on social media, a podcast, you know, that's a public appearance. You don't really see them as an individual per se. You see them as, you know, the part of the company person or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I mean, Mike's the type of guy that I remember the first time I met Mike, he's like, oh, I've been reading your Twitter and you know, I see you causing some trouble. I says, people are saying, why am I talking to this guy? You know, and he was really cool though. He was like, you know, me and him just kicked it off and we became friends. And, you know, he's very passionate. You know, and he's somebody that pushed Xbox, I think, at a time when it needed pushing. I think he gets it, and you know, it's just great that was great. And there's a lot of guys that like that with Xbox. So that's what makes Xbox kind of unique. You know, you have guys like Albert who left too, but he was the same way. You know, Aaron Greenberg. You know. These people they're just
you know, awesome. And let me jump here real quick, Tim. It was guys like Mike Ybarra and you know everybody with the social engagement with fans that kind of made it feel, even though Xbox was quote unquote losing, they still put their you know their head in the game, and they you know what I mean, they got the mind share. So yeah, they may be losing the console sales, but the mind share, they were ahead by fucking miles. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think it's something that it was, you know, with Xbox, with the community and the interaction with the executives. I think it's a kind of a unique situation and a first. And, you know, it's still going on. We're still all friends with it. But it's just, you know, now it's just like everything else, you know. Guy moves on to wherever he moves on to, and now it's a person. It's not, you know, now it's not even Xbox. You know that person is a person through your life, and you know they're kind of the first to kind of really encroach on that. And I still don't see anybody doing it. You know, I don't see people hanging out talking and you know going to dinners. I mean, these you know, like,
and people don't like understand that a lot of the stuff that these guys were doing, they could have gotten in trouble for, you know, for PR and HR and everything. They're so tight that like they could get in trouble for things like that, and it's crazy. And they was like, you know, no, hell, we're gonna go out with the fans and we're gonna engage with them. And to me, that was top notch. You don't see that anywhere. Like Tim said, it's unique. Xbox doing it by themselves.
Where else do you see that with a bunch of executives that are friends with a large portion of the community? I mean, everyone knows who South is. Everyone knows who Downer is. Everyone knows who, you know, people are, and that community.
Everybody knows you, Timmy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, the first time I went to E3, every other guy was like, "Oh, you're Tim Dog." Oh, you know, like they were like just like they knew me, and I was like, "Wow, I didn't expect that." You know what I mean?
You're a celebrity, brother.
Tim Dog, sign my Xbox right now.
But the point is that you don't see that elsewhere. You know, it's something that I think Microsoft also believes in, and I think that they kind of, you know, give the go ahead to do that in a certain aspect. And I've seen it even on the Windows side where they did it, but with Xbox, there's definitely nothing that's comparable. You know,
Yeah,
what
but I mean, to be honest, they do see the underlining to that. I mean, for to them, it's like free marketing. We're marketing their product, we're reaching
Yeah.
thousands of people, and it's a win-win for both of them and for us. So.
Yeah, but like South kind of said, everything's so tight right now. Who knows? Like somebody could make an accusation or some of this stuff. Who knows? That's why people don't usually commingle with its fans. Is because you'll always get that certain person that causes a problem or whatever.
Yeah.
It sometimes makes it hard or somewhat of a risk.
Well, the way social media is playing out now, and everybody's so hypersensitive about everything.
Right.
I mean, you just got to watch what you say, watch what you do, because you're the face of the company, and I think that took a toll on Mike, like it does on Phil. I could imagine, but.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely, yeah. No, you're absolutely right, Jeremy. Shock. What are your thoughts on the matter? Do you think Mike will be missed at Xbox?
Yeah, I think he will a little bit. But I mean, I think it's not going to be like the biggest blow. Like people are making it sound like how they're trying to make it sound like that's the same as like Sean Layden leaving. Like he was actually heading their vision of their company, and now it's going under that Jim Ryan guy, which some fans are not, unsure about where he's taken Sony. But yeah, he was great because I think he was the one that was really behind all the backwards compatibility and pushed. I'm surprised we got all the games we did end up getting when they first announced it. I just thought that it was going to be passed by the wayside like it was on 360. But yeah, I think he'll be missed. But I don't know if it's.
Hey, and who could ever forget at E3 when he dropped that bomb, like, and you won't have to pay for it.
Yeah, we won't charge you for the disc.
Yeah.
Hey, Timmy stood up and was like, "Yeah!"
Oh, dude, I was right next to Tim. He was screaming at the top of his fucking lungs.
Remember? Hey, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, remember the story is that they were going to say he wasn't going to say it, and I think he just said it. I think I think it was like it was discussed beforehand, and that was a one of the high points of a generation where there was a lot of losing going on. That was a high point.
That was a big moment.
Again, it just shows you the executives, the people that they've hung out with, the fans that we've known them on this type of level is it's just crazy. It's never really happens anywhere else.
And a lot of Sony fans are saying like it's a huge loss. Like, oh, look what's happening. I'm like, wait, you guys were the first ones that said get rid of him after he did what he did with the that review that you brought up. You're saying get this guy out of here. He doesn't like this is unprofessional.
Yeah.
But now it's a big thing.
One of the things I've heard is like people say, well, who's going to replace him? And my answer to that was always the same. It's like, you don't replace Mike. A guy like that comes once every so often. The next guy is going to be somebody you have no idea. His Twitter is not going to tweet, and he's just going to be somebody who works for Microsoft and, is not engaged with the fans, because usually that's what happens.
Yeah, and I think comparing Layden to Mike as far as the departures go, it's night and day. Xbox is gonna severely miss Mike, as opposed to Layden. Nobody's gonna miss that guy. I know I'm not.
I don't know about you guys, but I stood on the side of the road all day today with a sign that said "The end is near."
No way.
Doom and gloom.
Yeah, no, I did not. But come on, that's what you all saw my tweet. I'm pretty sure you did. As soon as all this information came out, I was like, oh my God, the sky is officially falling for about half the world right now.
Oh, so you were the guy standing outside Mike's house with a boombox over his head.
Oh God. Don't go. Please don't go.
They still have boomboxes?
Yeah, somewhere you can get them.
They do.
Yeah, you could probably find them on eBay.
Yeah, you can find them. There's a company that makes them.
Yeah,
definitely.
Pride Electronics carries them. I don't know if they do anymore because they're going under. But
hey, it's coming back in style, man. Everything is circular these days. Everything comes back in style. Bigger is
all the
better
OG
now.
pop lockers have them.
Bell bottoms.
Yeah, Yeah.
But listen, Invader, I want to talk to Tim about these Jets, man. What's going on with your Jets, Tim?
Come
I'm not
on.
even
Hey,
a Jet fan. First of all, I'm a
They got their
Giant
QB
fan.
back from Mono.
I'm a Giant fan, and they got their QB back, who's actually very good. You know,
Right.
I mean, people say he sucks. He's a very good quarterback.
Yeah.
okay,
And that's
can we
why.
talk about gaming and not sports?
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. Let's move on here, and we got some pretty big, significant PlayStation 5 news that's really come out of nowhere. Revealed on the PlayStation blog, some details were revealed about Sony's new console. Of course, like no surprise here, not exactly shocking. It's going to be called the PlayStation 5, and also some info on the new DualShock controller. It'll have a new feature, haptic feedback instead of rumble, and adaptive triggers. It will also feature USB-C charging and a higher capacity battery, which, hey, that's pretty cool. There's also an article from Wired interviewing Mark Cerny about it and revealed a few more details, such as the PS5 upgrading to 4K Blu-rays. Also, Bluepoint Games, a dev there chimed in stating that they are working on a new game for the console, a big new game. So some very interesting tidbits there. So obviously there's a lot to comment on, from the controller, console details, and game hints. How do you guys feel about these new features? And who wants to be the first to tackle this?
Well, I really think PS5 sucks.
All right.
Yes,
How
swing
you
it for the
really
fences.
feel,
Yeah.
Tim.
I'm curious to why they did it the way they did it. I thought doing, announcing PS5, it would have much been better to do it similar to what they did, or exactly like when they had the show in February of 2013 when Cerny announced the PS3 or the PS4. I thought they were going to do something like that, but so the announcement was just very weird, out of the blue. It's everything that you would expect. The biggest thing was the hardware ray tracing, which is a big thing. I thought possibly they might not have had it because they were quiet about it, but that's a huge get. Haptic triggers, that's nothing new with Xbox. We've had that since 2000. I think since the start of Xbox, Xbox One. So that was a big thing. Audio ray tracing sound, which is pretty much Atmos, it sounds like, but something different. So that's pretty cool. The solid state drive, you're going to be able to get to your games much quicker, faster, within seconds. It's going to blow away a PC experience if you want to be really, if you want to talk about like speed and stuff of getting into your games and playing your games. And just overall, it's going to really be a big thing, I think, for consoles as well as Xbox. They have similar thing. I think a lot of the things that you'll hear about, not really the T-flops, but like this type of stuff, because this is going to change a lot of things. I heard some big things about the solid state drive for Xbox, so that's huge for them. And then they announced backwards compatibility. Wow, we've had that. I think Xbox had that since.
They said it's going to be kind of limited.
Yeah, it's limited. Probably, who knows?
Probably just the PS4 games.
Right, big PS4 games at launch.
And then they said maybe not all of them.
On the 8K support.
Yeah, they'll have GT Sport. I think that they'll show in 8K possibly, but it'd be checkerboard at 8K. I don't think it'll be native.
No. What was that, Shock?
Oh, I was saying they said that, but then they were also couldn't confirm that all the PS4 games would carry over.
Yeah, I doubt that. The Xbox team right now, remember we used to get like the games, like it would just pop up like 3 Xbox One backwards compatibility games every Thursday. Major Nelson would announce it. That stopped. And the reason why that stopped is they're making all the patches for these games for Scarlett. They're working on that right as we speak. So I think Xbox is going to actually have a large number of that. I think Sony will have limited numbers, but they probably will have the big games like God of War, Spider-Man is really what you really need.
Oh, they have to.
That'll be a big sell.
I think what's going to be interesting is I think the players are going to be booting up in game straight in multiplayer. I mean, that's going to be interesting. It's never been done before. I mean, do you know PC, right? It's never been done before.
I don't know
So
if it's been done on PC, but the modular installs and stuff like that, that stuff is
Right.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can jump into a multiplayer game. There's a lot of tech stuff that we're going to even learn more about. I think Xbox is going to possibly announce it at XO. I don't know. At this point, you know, you kind of want to get your mind share out there.
Yeah.
And
Well,
or they're gonna wait. They're gonna wait until they think they have more powerful, and then they're gonna.
But is it just me, or it seems like a lot of these big companies they're kind of like saving money, but not by not doing
Not
the big
Xbox.
shows? And well, I mean,
Not
yeah,
Xbox.
well, still,
They're gonna have a big
Yeah,
show.
well.
They're gonna have an XO. They had an E3. Sony's the one who hasn't been showing up. They haven't had a. They don't even know if there's gonna be a PSX this year.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, because their power schemes. No, nobody does an answer for that. You know what I mean? Like, if there's no big shows, they're deciding that they rather do it this route. Xbox, I think that they definitely are going to announce a Scarlett on either E3 or XO. You know what I mean? They're going to announce.
Well, they have to get the mind sharp. Yeah, it's already been announced.
Yeah.
But when they're going to really announce it, and, you know, make a statement, possibly. Listen, I'm possibly thinking that they're going to be a little bit more powerful. Might not be much. But, you know, if the latest rumor is true, where the chipset is the SoC is 350 nanometers for Xbox and 300 nanometers for Sony, that's a 50 nanometer difference. It's bigger.
No. And you're speaking fucking like Asian to me, like you know what I mean, Chinese.
Basically,
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
In layman's terms, Xbox chip is going to be bigger than Sony's, so that means they can put more compute units, which make graphics on it, which give you power. So that's
it doesn't beg the question too is why they're leaking the specs now.
They're not
when
leaking.
They're still about a year out, and
it
gives Xbox a chance to say, okay, well you got that. Well, you know, I mean, I'm sure they both know what each other's making and the powers already.
Well, would you guys agree that power's really not going to matter this next gen? Because if you
power's
think about
always in the equation. Come on, bro.
I understand what you're saying, Jeremy.
Yeah, these systems are so powerful, running at 4K, native 4K, 60 frames per second, that you're not going to be able to tell the difference between. I mean, you're going to be, you know, maybe ray tracing, shadows, and stuff like that. But side by side, there's not going to be a big difference between these games.
Since Tori wants to say something.
But I want to at least say, when it comes to the power narrative, by you saying that it's not going to be able to be seen, what about the whole grass gate thing where people were counting blades of grass and say you can see the difference between 900p and 1080p?
Yeah,
I don't care who you are or how long you've been in the industry. You would have to be one badass mother to be able to tell the difference between 900p and 1080p.
Okay, but the point is, the 1080p to 900p is a considerable difference. Between 4K, there's no difference. It's 4K native. That's it.
Well, you might get higher frame rates on a more powerful system, or you'll get higher settings. Listen, if Xbox is about 1 teraflop or 1 teraflop more, or just say they're just 1 teraflop more than Sony, you'll have gains in it. But by the generations, I do kind of agree where power is. It's not the T-flop is not what it's going to be deemed what it was.
Yeah,
they're going to be talking about things like booting from. You're turning your Xbox or PlayStation 5 on and being in a game within 3 seconds.
Now, and let's be fair, Xbox has a lot of work to do. They need to upgrade their home screen. They need to upgrade their software on that. And in the past, it's still clunkier than shit. I miss
the 360 blades. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim, where's that new UI coming from? Or when is it coming?
Well, they already have people in preview are already using the newer UI, and it's very good. When it comes to the public, I think that people will make they might like it. It looks like PlayStation. It's basically PlayStation's, and smaller and less it's better than what they had. When that update hits, they're just going to keep doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
The UI, I don't see getting a complete overhaul. What I do see is, like things like speed and the way to get to your games and playing.
Well, isn't that power? Basically, power.
Well,
No,
that's speed, kind of like the
Yeah,
solid.
but doesn't the
solid
power
state-
allow you to do that? Or I mean, am I?
the RAM?
Obviously, I'm not a tech guy.
No, the power would give you like brute force, like a game like God of War would like to push out the graphics on it. Power would be that way, in my opinion. Not like when you're talking about like system level stuff like UI and stuff like that. That's more of speed of processor, CPU, and RAM and speed of RAM, which both these consoles are going to blow each other out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be so fast to your UI and downloading games and playing games. They're gonna get to as close to his point where it's almost instantaneous. That is the goal, to where like you hit it and it's like hitting a light switch. You're right where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Too fast, too furious. Let's see here.
Yes.
Boozy the Clown said that, well, basically why they put this out the way they did was to deflect from the job cuts announced the other day. So
that was Sony's side. That was with the Sony division in Europe got.
I read some about that. That a lot of the European team has been like chopped in half because they want to focus strictly on American.
Yeah,
the American.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting was Blue Point Games here. They said they're working on a big game for the PS5. Now, Blue Point's known for basically remasters. They did Shadow of the Colossus, Gravity Rush, the Nathan Drake collection. Do you guys see them doing another remaster of sorts?
Nah, I don't think so.
Or something new?
They probably making something new. I mean, after you make remakes and covers all day for 10 years, you want to have your you want to stretch your legs a little bit. You want to make your own game.
Yeah, and there's still relatively small studio. I mean, they've, again, like you said, they did Shadow of the Colossus, which was an excellent remake, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
They did the Uncharted collection. Gravity Rush was a great remaster. I don't know if you guys got a chance to play that, but that was an excellent remake. So they do good jobs as far as remake goes, but I think they dabble a little bit in iOS too. I think they made Flower or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think so, but who knows?
All right, guys. It looks like Tim left. He'll probably pop back in soon, but we'll move along to our next topic, unless anybody else has something to add. No. All right. Now, moving along, and not to be outdone, there's been a couple of Project Scarlett leaks making the rounds. Now, recently, a few patents were spotted online with big hints at VR support. Now, the first patent being a VR boundary mat, so pretty straightforward there, huh, Jeremy?
Dance Revolution is going to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that? What was that Nintendo pad back in the days? What was it called?
Wii Fit or something? I don't know.
No, the Nintendo one. 30 years ago. What? I can't remember the name of it. The gamepad or some shit.
Fuck, I don't know.
Oh, but remember they had one.
I remember that it was like a mat that you put out on the floor.
Yeah. Like you could run, and like the faster you step, the faster you run in the game.
Yeah, I think I remember that. But there's also some other stuff. There's another pen that's.
I'm old. I must be old. I just dated myself.
But there are other patents that suggested some kind of motion controller similar to the PlayStation Move, actually. And not only that, but there's another patent that seems to be for some sort of stylus, which would seem to act similar to like a Nintendo 3DS kind of implementation. So, guys, what do you make of these patents? Do you think that we'll see VR come to the Xbox Scarlett? Because originally for the Xbox One, it was kind of teased that there might have been some VR, but obviously that didn't make its way over. So do you think we'll see something for the Scarlett going forward?
At first, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, really? The boundary mat? Come on. It's April Fool's early, but motion controllers, they got to get away from that. I mean, come on. Really? I mean, I know they want to do a VR, but it's still not accessible enough to where it's going to, the masses are going to buy it. So if they can make it accessible, however they can make it accessible, whether it's through, I think how much does Oculus go for now? I think it's $400 or $500. But if it's compatible with the other ones at a cheaper price, and they could, throw the games in there for to boot, I think it could be a success. I don't know, but this boundary mat stuff, motion controllers, and the Kinect comeback is just laughable.
Well, I think that they're thinking is their take on VR is, I guess, up in the air. And one of the options that you could do is have a Kinect device, camera, which they probably are making. You have a VR headset, and you have this mat where you stand on, and the camera actually is on you, and that's interpreted and it's played within the VR, so you can actually see yourself.
Isn't that Connect?
No, but that's like you see yourself now with the VR on. That's my only guess. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just a wild guess. But in my opinion, Xbox really is not focused on VR. So I would be also not surprised if you never hear about this again. And Xbox is just
they do
games.
patents of crazy shit all the time, and people run wild with it. I think it's just some ideas, and that's all it is. It's not going to be implemented at the end of the day.
It's like the the Illumaroom. Remember that? Does anybody remember the Illumaroom?
Yes, exactly.
That was cool. I kind of like that.
That was cool, but it was also patented. But there was also really the ability to really do that.
Yeah.
Was more stated than it was. It was something that required an insane amount of work.
Yeah. Projector.
And I remember I asked somebody at Xbox about it. They're like, that damn thing. I says the thing would never work. He says, it was something that was like in theory was just an idea. But the point is that they come up with these ideas, they patent them because you never know if somebody comes in and they reinvent it and they come up with an unbelievable idea, and you could use the tech.
It was funny when I was 17 years old. I came up with this idea where, I mean, you guys have been to a 4D theater, right? Where it blows smoke and water and stuff like that in your face. Well, I came up with
you like that in your face, right?
Oh my God, where was I? Anyway,
the smell controller.
Yeah, so I came up with, and I still have like the blueprints for where you put it on top of your TV or on the bottom where your TV stand is, and this little box will, throw out lights and throw out wind and throw out smoke to where it has some functionality to the game that you're playing. So if you're playing, and then, obviously smells would be included. So if you're playing a racing game or whatever, you could smell the grass. It was just silly. But the point is, the point is I tried to sell, I think I sent it to Microsoft one time, emailed Microsoft, and they never got back to me, but I tried with my idea. I don't think they patented it or knocked it off, but I think it was a good idea.
It was like, reverse engineer this now.
But yeah.
Oh man.
Something I wanted to share with you guys, but yeah.
Now, don't you think it's kind of ironic that all these patents came out all of a sudden when all those guys came out and were like, the next Xbox is going to have a camera? I really do.
That was so dumb.
I know.
And
whoever took that bait, like, I think did any morons make a video on that? Because if you took
probably.
I'm pretty sure there's some people that did because
if you took the bait on that, you're totally clueless. Xbox not making the same mistake that it did in 2013, 2014. Phil single-handedly killed the Kinect, when he came in. I remember that day it just went away. And That's it for the Kinect. It'll be something that you buy separately. But whoever made a video or really took that was annoying. I'm like, come on.
I almost
Yeah.
put a video that Microsoft came out and nipped that in the butt very quickly.
Yeah.
Name a lot of the times in this generation that Microsoft came out and like completely smacked that down real quick. They were like, no, that ain't right.
Almost never.
Yeah. As soon
Yeah.
as that was circulating, they were like, we need to stop this now.
Yeah, we need to stop this Connect shit right now.
They came out like, that dude is a liar. He is a flat-faced liar.
Yeah, absolutely. Shock, do you have any comments on this, or do you just think it's not going to come?
Yeah,
Thank you,
probably.
Shock.
It's good.
Oh, my bad.
That's no problem, man. But no, it's just interesting seeing these patents pop up. I mean, some of them are kind of wild. Some of them you don't want to
Sorry, I
believe.
spaced out there for a second. I think eventually they're going to get into, because I see a lot of the like next gen, or I guess on PC, like the next like VR is coming out.
Mhm.
And I think definitely with Sony, they're going to have to step that up, which hopefully are. I think they were working on a wireless one. So hopefully Xbox doesn't leave that whole, space open to Sony, just taking that whole thing and running with it. So hopefully they patent either with Oculus and kind of partner with them.
I don't see Microsoft leaving the VR department alone at all. Just like Microsoft has influenced PlayStation with creating haptic triggers and USB-C, because USB-C is in the new Elite controller that's coming out next month. Basically, just as Microsoft is influencing PlayStation is influencing right back. I have a number of friends who play on PlayStation, and they always have to throw the one-liner at me of PlayStation has VR. And even though it is not this blockbusting selling device that is completely changing the industry, it is something that is specific to PlayStation, and Xbox sees that. I just think they're not going to go about it the same route as PlayStation. I really do foresee them, I have to agree with a lot of people that's saying that Oculus is probably going to be a big part in that, and probably creating a third-party device that will probably use, maybe Microsoft is creating the camera, because Microsoft's like, look, we can create the camera because we know how to do that. It'll be really easy to do, but you guys need to create the actual device that's going to be able to work with it.
Yeah.
Right, they might have something similar. I mean, listen, that the focus, the thing is that VR really hasn't hit its stride to the point where it's making a ton of money. I could see VR. I see VR growing. I just think it has some problems, and I feel like there's a possibility they might not. I just think that they might just possibly just do Xbox Game Studios and just do that way and just make games for xCloud.
Well,
So
sorry, Tim, but the only problem with VR is it's not accessible. You cannot, it's expensive. Come on, let's be straight.
yeah,
And I mean, the experience itself is amazing. VR is amazing for those who have the actual, whether it's PlayStation or Oculus. The games are incredible. The immersion is incredible. And if everyone could play and it was accessible to everybody, then to me it'll take off and Xbox would adopt it. I think maybe they'll adopt it again if somebody like Oculus throws it out for a decent price. And I mean, I think that's it.
they have to get it to where I think we talked about this last week. I don't remember if it was another podcast, but they have to get it to the point where when you play, majority of the people playing it don't get sick or don't get, feel weird. Because I'd say there still is a large amount that play and they feel different afterwards, or some get sick. They have to have it to the point where that doesn't happen to anybody. I think that's another thing that there's certain things that work against VR, in my opinion. The ability that you're enclosed in that world, and then anything around you could be going on, and you wouldn't know. So if you have a little one around, you really can't go full on VR. You know what I mean? VR mode with ear sound. You just can't do it. You have to.
Have you seen those YouTube videos where people have the VR units on and they're fucking falling over the couches, or they're hitting their kids in the head, or they're breaking their TVs? I mean, it's just funny.
Some of it happens. You ever see the ones that like they fucking jump into space and they just fall on their face? It's like they get like weirded out or something. But I mean, listen, I think the tech is where Sony has gotten a pretty good footing on it, and they're going to be the go-to guy if VR is going to kick off. I just feel that Microsoft probably might have an idea different, but I don't think that they're going to be focused on that. I think they're going to be more focused on building Xbox Game Studios, building Game Pass, building, the games, basically push them out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're hiring like crazy still. They're hiring for the team that the team that helped. They dispatched them with Diablo on the Xbox One, and they got it to 1080p. They dispatched them to Destiny group to get Destiny to 1080p. Most recently, they were put on Red Dead Redemption 2. And it's like their internal support team. I believe the name is the ATG, Advanced Technical Group. They're hiring, so that even their groups within groups are being expanded and growing. They're serious about the gaming, so I just can't wait until it starts to show the reaps of what it's put out.
Wait till it's like an experience, like going into Ready Player One. Walk into a room that's just designed for VR.
See, that stuff is cool. I think VR is very potential. I just think it's going to take time. They're going to have to perfect it. You're going to have to get it where it's accessible, easy, doesn't make you sick. You could see it around. You could see around you somehow and know where you are, and I think that's when they'll hit it.
Well, the faster the frames are,
the less sick you get.
Yeah, less potential you have to get sick. So,
absolutely. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the near future, guys. I mean, obviously, we're just kind of speculating here based off of pens, but still, it'd be pretty cool if they could add it in at some point, right? There seems to be, there's a lot of love going on the PlayStation side, and there's a lot of experimenting going on with VR. I've seen a lot of good stuff.
Invader. That boundary mat, though, man. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Is it horrible?
It's fucking horrible.
I like the ones where you're raking leaves and you're just doing it. That's all you're doing in VR.
Oh my.
Shovel.
Or you're working. You're working.
Yeah. Like who wants it? Yeah. You're really doing it. You're doing a virtual burger at Burger King.
Yeah, but
that's what some of it is. It's those stupid experiences.
Hey, maybe VR has a big potential in the employment industry. You just go in the back room, they slap a camera on your head, and they just basically teach you that way.
All right, who do we got here? Peter Sark, thanks for joining. Matt Jones.
Yes.
Boozy the Clown. Jago Kukin.
Yes.
Z Black Rider. Hey, we got Doc here. Jeff Bartram. Hey, Doc, how you been doing?
Guy?
Who else?
Doc?
Good old Doc. Doc's in the house, everyone. We got lots of good people in the chat. Glad to see you all here. The chat is livid. All right, guys, we're going to move on to our next topic. And we got some Google Stadia news. And basically, there's a lot of it been making the rounds the past couple of days. And according to the VP of Engineering, Maj Bakar, Google Stadia will be faster and more responsive than local gaming in a year or two. That's a pretty bold statement to make. He further states that Google's negative latency will act as a workaround for any potential lag between player and server, basically a buffer of predicted latency. That's right, everyone. Stadia will attempt to predict your actions in games.
Invader, isn't that fucking scary? I mean, they're creating an algorithm to predict your playthrough. I mean, come on. That's scary, dude.
Well, basically, guys, how do you feel
doesn't
about
mean
this technology?
Well, first of all, what they're saying is a little bit far fetched. I mean, their use of words and stuff. Negative latency is kind of really comical if you think about it.
Yeah.
But what they're talking about is, I guess, like Jeremy says, an algorithm or it's machine learning where they'll be able to play the game along with you, and let's say that they're playing it, and once your internet connection drops, they're still playing the game on a multiplayer game, and then it comes back and you're basically where you were. Certain things like that, all adding to helping with latency. Stuff like this is definitely coming to xCloud and all these cloud services. It's just something that they're building, but the usage of words by the guy is going to get them in a lot of trouble. I don't think Google really should just shut up and should just let it just come out. It's going to get killed by a lot of people saying it doesn't work or they have it, but they have some good ideas, and they're starting really, shorthanded in a way going against the competition. So it's going to be interesting to see. In my opinion, I'll give them 2 years. They're either this is going to make or it's going to go. Make or break. They have some heavy competition, and that's why I believe Jim Ryan pushed what he pushed. Is that if Google and Xbox took that cloud, that would have been real bad. But Sony's to the point where, hey, if we could get the cloud up and running in 2-3 years with Microsoft's help, Google's in trouble because they don't have the catalog, they don't have the games and services behind it, they don't have the things that we've established. And that's where I see Google in a real tough position. So my point is that I just think that, just not to overtalk, but I think that they should just really shut up and don't say any of this stuff because it's going to get killed. They're going to get killed.
I think eventually the latency issue is not going to be a factor, especially with the speeds of the internet nowadays. I mean, again, eventually 2-3 years down.
5 years, but
maybe 5 years. But anyway, I think Tim's not going to like this, but I think Google's going to figure out the issues. And I think they're going to be an industry leader. I mean, that's what I'm predicting. I think they're going to do a good job with Stadia, and I think they understand that I think third party kind of rules everything right now. So I think right now that's going to be the filler for them while they get their foothold in the first party, whether it's buying companies. So you're going to see them make some big moves as far as buying companies coming around the board. But again, third party is going to keep them afloat for a very long time, and you're going to see them buy exclusive third party games. Exclusive to their console, until they can make that foothold and dabble in their first party lineup. But that's my prediction on everything.
It sucks.
You know what? How many times have we seen Google do something and then they just end up just throwing it away? Like they love to just waste money. I don't see them like sticking with Stadia for more than 3 years before they just shutter it and abandon it.
So I take it nobody has pre-ordered one here?
I'm thinking about it. I'll probably, what happens with a guy like me is that it'll come out or a week before I'll get the urge and I'll get it. Definitely the problem with me is I don't really have a great internet connection at home, and 5G isn't out. So I'm kind of like not really, if I have to do something on the internet, I like to do it with a strong connection. So that's just the way I am. I don't want to play like I play doing it on my thing. I guess I could try it, but if I had like a gig service up and down fiber, I would be getting it day one.
All right.
So just to try it.
I pre-ordered. It's $130. For the controller, and basically it's a Chromecast device that you're purchasing.
You get games. You get certain games. You get like certain amount of games, right?
And the price points, if you think about it, guys, the price point is very good. So I think it has a lot of potential. Again, the latency part, I don't think it's going to be an issue early on. I think it's going to be enough buffer and filler to maybe fool some people. But again, um, I think they understand that third party is where it's at, and that's going to be their crutch for a little while until they can get a foothold in the first party market.
Absolutely. I'm kind of curious to see how this goes because playing a single player game is one thing, but then a multiplayer game with having the negative latency, that I don't know. That like just trying to predict our moves and whatnot. I don't see it working out too well.
Do you think that there's enough of an internet infrastructure, or is Google really over? Like, I think that I really don't see Google succeeding too well outside of major cities.
Yeah, and you're 100% correct. So, for example, obviously I live in Montana now. So when I'm paying when I'm paying for 1 gigabyte speed, and I asked the cable provider, internet provider, how much exactly those speeds were going to cost me, and we're talking about over $1,000 for something that I paid for. Yeah, exactly.
That's what they were charging you for a gig?
Yeah, that's what they're charging.
What would it be, a one-time charge or a month?
No, it's every month.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
yeah, exactly. So, right now I can get 100 gigabytes for $120.
That's
Now
not
that's ridiculous because
that's bad, but it's not horrendous. Yeah, you're right. The market is inflated. So how much is your upload with that though?
Upload's 100.
So it's symmetrical.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's actually
I'm paying like 118 for 150 up, and I think I forget what my download is.
Right. I mean, 75, and I pay 75, and I get like just under 500.
But again, like what Centurion was saying, I think obviously the larger markets are going to be those with the higher gigabytes or megabytes of speed, so on and so forth. But I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, they just installed cable out here in my God, I can't even think of the terminology for it right now, but they just
the railroad.
What are you, a prospector?
Yeah, the fiber cable. There you go, fiber cable. They installed that.
That's good that you're fiber though.
Yeah,
Jeremy's looking for gold out in Montana.
Hey, there's a lot of places.
Google Stadia is going to last as long as Google freaking Google Wire. Google Glass. Remember Google Fiber?
Google Gaga.
They said that they were gonna wire the whole entire nation.
Oh yeah.
It started in the middle, Kansas City.
That's my only problem with the whole idea of Google succeeding is I think that for some reason that they
give up on stuff.
Well, I think they're going to give up because they don't understand how much resistance they're going to get.
Exactly.
The cable and internet industry is instituting things like internet slow lanes, data caps, price gouging. It's getting really bad. So unless, including Microsoft, if Google and Microsoft and even PlayStation don't come together and start trying to strike deals with these internet companies, I mean, it's just going to continue getting more outrageous. At this point, you have a system that is totally codependent on the cooperation of another system, aka the internet infrastructure. And if those guys don't care about your bottom line and they're only worried about their bottom line, there's going to be some major problems. And it would be like Google Stadia at that point is going to be for the elite that can afford it. A PC gaming itself is already considered an almost unobtainable thing for some, just because of the cost involved in building some of these computers. Yeah. And I feel like Google Stadia is going to put themselves in that same category.
Well, I actually think that the ISPs will turn around. The reason why I think that is I think in the near future, 5G is going to start to ramp up. 5G, China is way ahead of us in 5G, and that technology basically, in layman's terms, is just pretty much as good enough as like a landline or fiber to your house. The speeds you get, the latency is very good. But I see 5G really being rolled out the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. And definitely,
So
and
that'll help though with these data caps.
I've already seen resistance on 5G from the people that don't want it. Again, the cable companies. They're trying to come out and saying that 5G is going to interfere with weather predicting equipment because apparently they're not able to accurately predict the weather with 5G in place. It's like, when were you guys ever able to accurately predict the weather?
Well, let's
very
be fair.
interesting. I heard that too, though.
It has to do with cost more than anything. I mean, they don't want to
Well,
shout out.
I have news for you. I know that like municipalities, you have to get permission. Trump, because he stated that we're way behind on 5G technology.
5G,
the FCC pushed that you could just install it. So at that point, when you have no like government resistance and you're open, and they're making you want it, it's gonna go. So I do see 5G really changing the game, and I think
now,
it's like.
Did you just give him a compliment, Tim? Did you actually compliment?
Sounded like it. Sounded like it.
That's just a policy. He's like that with everything. But well, we're talking about Trump here. I'm just saying, as regards to 5G, there's less restriction on it. So I do think that I think we're gonna start to catch up to other countries in the technology because it's really a big deal.
Well, it's going to create competition, and we already see what competition is doing for the gaming industry. There has to be a lot more competition when it comes to delivering internet entertainment, because God, I'm paying $120 a month for satellite television, and you get like literally 4 options. You don't pay for it, you get cable, or you get Dish or Direct TV. Like, there needs to be way more competition when it comes to delivering the internet, because until then, these companies are going to be free to charge whatever they want for their service.
See, I think everyone's just going to basically, in the future, just have a phone. I mean, people have TVs, but your real device is going to be the phone, the things that you watch TV on, your shows, your provider. So I like, my idea of where it's all going is that I find that that's what's likely to happen. But the fact is that if we could start to build these infrastructures and everyone can play it, that's what I think also xCloud's banking on, and Stadia is that they can, get these things to happen, and you could actually have it where, your latency is low and you're playing games in the middle of a park with no latency or very little, and you're playing, competitively with a controller on a bench. Think about that.
Mm-hmm. Shock, are you interested in getting a Stadia at all?
Probably not. It's still hard. I feel like there's a lot of confusion with when I hear other podcasts about it. Do you buy the games? Or are you just renting the games? And I'm still not sure about it. They haven't really done a great job on that. Describing it. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like, I'm probably more interested in what Microsoft's doing, because I'm assuming they'll probably end up tying it in somehow to maybe Game Pass Ultimate or something. So why try to have two of those systems at the same time? I'll probably just fall back on Microsoft or xCloud.
Right. I think, obviously with the xCloud streaming service, Tim has probably near 1,000 games, right? In South, how many games do you have, South?
I got like 700.
You guys have 700.
900.
Those games are going to be, I think they said day one, right? Accessible for you to stream
through xCloud through the server.
Right, exactly.
That means no, but when I say that, means that if you own the game on your Xbox, you could do it through your Xbox. So that means you have to tie up your Xbox. The data portion where you could just get your xCloud games, that's a different story. That's going to be games that they add into the service. And like somebody else was saying, most likely it's going to be tied into Game Ultimate and the Game Pass. So any new game that comes out is going to be ready right on those Xbox servers, ready to go. But when they say all your games, they mean that you can, stream it from your Xbox once purchased and do it that way.
Right. So I'll be curious to see just how fast they can develop and how many games that are your games that you can stream through the service. I think eventually they'll have a huge hit on their hand if they can supply the people that buy thousands, literally thousands or hundreds of games.
Yes.
Kind of like the backwards compatibility. If they can keep feeding us those types of things, I think people buy more games and put more money into those services.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Invader. I was just going to say, with what I know about Stadia and what I've been reading, the way it's going to work is they're going to initially use Stadia. You're going to obviously have to buy the controller, the founders pack, at least right now.
Yeah.
And you're going to end up being charged a monthly service fee based on the resolution that you're looking for. Their resolutions are going to go anywhere from 720p up to 4K, and there's going to be a price tag assigned to the resolution that you would like to play your games in. Now, when it comes to I've also found out that there's going to be a Game Pass style service. I don't know if it's included with the base price of Stadia, or it's like an add-on that you have to basically get like select games like Game Pass. But the other games, like a lot of your third-party games, you're going to have to buy those. So you're going to be paying a monthly service fee on top of buying your games. And this is where a lot of people get standoffish on this situation. If Google does get rid of Stadia and gives up on it, what are they going to do with all those third-party games that you have been sinking your money into? Are you out the money? Are you going to be refunded? Is there going to be some compensation if Stadia does not succeed?
Interesting. They're very interesting. And one thing that I think is interesting is the price structure that you mentioned. Thinking about it, if they said the first time they came out, they were going to support 8K, and imagine getting the 8K resolution tier and playing it on your TV.
It'll blow up.
Even then,
think about that though.
Even they had one guy do the math on the 4K tier on how quickly it can eat up a data cap.
For like 10 minutes.
It was a couple hours. I mean,
to think that there's still data.
Some games.
It should honestly a data cap. I think that that shouldn't be allowed right now. I mean, that's just crazy.
It's not a finite resource, so I don't know why there's data caps.
I mean, I really think that that's bullshit.
It's money, bro. Come on, we all know that.
I know, but still, I would.
Yeah.
I have a 1 terabyte data cap, and I had to pay extra money just to get that cap with the half terabyte.
Well, I think what's going to happen is you're going to see 720. Who plays in 720 now? But probably a Nintendo fan. But
I would only get the 4K.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be free. I think the 720 is going to be free. 1080 would be like, I think they're going to have a free service.
I think 1080p was supposed to be free, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. So
that's what I thought they announced. Like 1080p was free, and then 4K you had to pay.
See how much fucking shit we're swifting through. Nobody. You think the average customer's going to deal with this? The one thing that Stadia does have, though, I have to say, is their integration socially and with their like Google Hangouts technology. I could see them doing some damage in that, or doing getting some headway there.
See, I made a prediction with Xbox 448 when I was on his show that we all see how easy it is right now.
What's going on, people?
Right? We all see how easy it is to share our gameplay on YouTube, especially on the PlayStation side, you can like stream directly to YouTube.
Right.
I really do think that once Google Stadia, if it takes off, they're going to strip that feature away and make it to where the only console that can stream directly to YouTube is theirs.
Interesting.
Oh, the dirty. They very well could do that.
Ooh, yeah,
Very well.
That'll
Tie
be
in
huge.
YouTube, and then call it the YouTube Dadia.
Well, yeah, they take advantage. They got to take advantage of all their services, right? And
Oh,
YouTube's a big piece of
they
it.
do that. Well, listen, to be honest, they could totally say
Did it with Google Hangouts.
they could do that. Yeah, they did it overnight in Google Hangouts. They'll say no. We'll say, listen, we're doing a closed service. It's gonna be part of our strategy. And you know what? I hate to say it, it'll get a lot of resistance, but YouTube is to the point where it's so universal that like you just default doing it. Like it might actually be something that when you get on Stadia and you're playing a game and you're seeing how easy it is to share and to even take it a step further, have like a gaming podcast where you're all in the same room and you're presenting what your gameplay is, what we call party chats, as like a podcast. I could see that really going like a certain way for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think they're going to abandon it, Centurion. I don't think they're going to abandon it at all. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Is exactly what you said. And if that happens,
that would be a game changer for their console.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would be kind of scummy, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. It's a good business move.
Everybody's kind of thrown to the curb when it comes to podcasting, and we're having to use StreamYard and OBS and Discord because, Google Hangouts was completely just ripped out of our hands.
Yeah. Way to go, Google. Way to go. But you know what, guys? We'll move on to another topic because, we'll definitely be talking about Stadia in the near future. There'll be all kinds of updates on it. But hey, it's looking interesting. Lots of question marks, but some cool tech anyways. Moving along, and Apple has just announced an interesting update with a recent iOS update. And they've added support for Microsoft's Xbox wireless controller, adding major updates for the iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, and the Mac. So pretty cool seeing Apple recently just launched the Apple Arcade, and they're selling the Xbox wireless controller in their stores. So how do you guys find this news? It seems like Apple is acknowledging one of the superior controllers on the market here.
I think
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, but Sony's
it's a no-brainer, bro. Yeah, come on. The Xbox controller plays on damn near everything. It's a Bluetooth. I mean, you can play it on anything. So why not just go with what basically everybody likes and uses?
Yeah, well, one of the good things I think this points to is xCloud functionality. I do think that Apple's going to allow xCloud on their storefront, and now you have the ability to use the controller, which is what you need. So I think it's a big first step for xCloud, and for myself, I am going to go. There's two considerations I have next year for my phone. One is it has to be 5G, which I think iPhone's going to have, and the other is xCloud, which I don't know at this point that xCloud's going to have, but I do have a feeling that they are working on it. I had asked a couple of times and kind of was told, just hold your horses now. It's in the works. It's just they want to get a platform first and down and then move on.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even give you an option to choose Apple as your iPhone as a xCloud. You can't. You're not going to be able to do the beta on it, which is
you can't even sign up for it.
Exactly. So
you have to go to like a PC or an Android device.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping I'm going to get in. I'm really hoping.
Wonder if I get a jailbroken iPhone that works.
We talked a little. Me and Centurion talked a little bit about that last episode. Android and Apple.
I have to say, I just been in like I just got it's my work phone, and it's the Note 9.
Oh, those are nice.
That's a
Oh
good
my
phone.
god,
That's a good
the
phone.
screen. I have to say it. I'm a big Apple guy, but and I have an OLED with the iPhone 10 Max.
Right.
The screen on the freaking
Right?
Note and the resolution is much
Insane.
better. It's like so crystal clear. I can't explain it. Like I put like one of the first thing I'm one of these people. When I get my phone, the first thing I do is put the brightness on as high as it go, graphic settings as high as it goes, whatever. Like it defaults on with the Note 9, it defaults on 1080p. You have to go in there and change it to 1440. But I have to say, like the like watching YouTube and stuff on that. Not that I do, but like the video quality is unbelievable.
Dude, I run my entire YouTube, my website, and everything off of my Note 9. Now, obviously, I have PCs to do everything else, but when I'm at work or I'm out on the road, I live on my Note 9. This was like one of the best investments I ever made. And I'm a Samsung whore. I have Samsung televisions, Samsung tablets. I've got Samsung phones. So I was excited when they were just like, yep, it's coming to Android. I'm like, I'm set up for that.
Yeah, it's huge.
I got the S10 Plus. I'm ready to rock and roll, baby. Let's do this.
That's a really nice one.
Which one?
And the next year, the 10
S10
Plus.
Plus?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you score that?
T-Mobile, baby.
That's a good one, man. You must love that thing.
Dude, they're sending messages all the time saying they'll give me $300 off of an S10 right now for my wife to upgrade because we're on the same plan. And yeah, I'm actually thinking about getting my wife an S10.
You know,
the phone is beautiful. The only thing you have to worry about is the little space where the camera is up in the corner because the whole screen, there's nothing blacked out. The whole phone is a screen, but except where the camera is. That's the only thing I had to get used to. But it's not. It doesn't like deflect me now.
Put the tempered glass on it for sure. I mean, the one thing I have to say is getting that tempered glass is the best thing because if you do drop your phone, and I know I dropped my phone, and it hits a pebble or hits the side of a curb, that tempered glass will break, but your screen itself will stay.
Well, trip out on this. When I first got it, exactly what happened. I was getting in my car. And it fell out of my pocket. And I picked it up, and there was a nice little notch right in the middle of the screen. And I was saying, I didn't realize that it had a little screen over it that I didn't peel off. So it was, so I was like, holy shit, how did I not know? It saved me.
Every man goes straight into an OtterBox.
I would have had
OtterBoxes are good.
Warehouses and all other stuff, man.
Yeah, OtterBoxes are good, but man, I just find them so bulky. I don't know.
Yeah, it's too much. It makes your phone like 5 inches too big. And
your phone doesn't break, though. It does not break. I have an OtterBox for my 11, and it does not break. I've thrown this thing. Oh, this thing has fell off a pole. I mean, this thing is just like, it's unbelievable.
All right, guys. All right, I guess we'll move on to another bit of news. And it seems like a few big publishers have been naughty in the UK. Both Sony, SEGA, and Warner Brothers are alleged to have exploited UK tax breaks intended for indie developers, all to avoid paying millions in taxes. Now, technically, they didn't break any rules. However, this initiative is meant for much more smaller scale studios. It just kind of looks bad optics-wise. SEGA supposedly took £20 million, Sony £30 million, and Warner Brothers £60 million. So, guys, how do you feel about this? Are these large publishers taking advantage here? And should loopholes be closed off?
Nope, it's not a loophole. It's the law. They can do whatever they want. That's how it is.
Yeah, you know what? The government's always going to want money, more money, more money. So, you know what? Like Jeremy said, that's a law. They weren't breaking any laws. They following the rules.
Yeah.
True, but I mean, it just looks kind of, my end anyways, it kind of looks bad optics-wise. You got these big publishers that, really, they don't necessarily need all this money.
Did you say Sony was? Did you say Sony was a part of that?
Yeah, Sony.
Guilty.
30 million pounds.
See, that's the only thing. It does look bad, and the one thing I don't agree with is these laws were put in place to help smaller independent studios and basically being able to afford to keep their doors open, and then the upper echelon of gaming that can afford the tax guys that can figure out these loopholes are going to take advantage of it. And yeah, even though it is law, it's it's like the whole idea of like you know, out here in Arizona we had a politician that was caught doing 120 down the road, and the first thing he basically did on the officer's camera, because now they're all wearing body cameras out here, the first thing when the officer got to the window is this dude had a government ID in his face, and the first words out of his mouth were, "I have diplomatic immunity." And like
he's not.
And the officer had to basically let him go because he was under some kind of diplomatic immunity. And it's just like, no, that person should have been wrote a ticket, but because of the law that was protecting him, gave him immunity.
No, there's no law that protects them. I think there's an underlining to that where it states that if I forgot exactly what it is, but no, if he's doing 120, that's considered reckless driving. He doesn't have. Nobody's above the law. That's the law.
Same individual been caught numerous times doing this, and I guess what it was is the law enforcement agency had enough of it, and that's why they released the footage to the press, because they wanted to put it out there that this is what he's doing. And
yeah,
dude,
I think what's happening is he's using some sort of.
And that person was Jeremy.
Wow.
Probably.
Yeah, he's using something to his advantage where he can get out of it. Like it's almost like
he had an Xbox in his freaking trunk. That's what happened.
All right, we want to talk.
No, he was driving a Tesla and he was playing Cuphead.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where I'm just saying, like, it's kind of messed up on how, like, you know, people that really shouldn't be taking advantage of stuff like that are using the system to their advantage, even though it is lawful and that they aren't doing anything wrong. You know,
driving 120 is wrong, and it is off 100%.
Like, you know, when you're walking through the door of a restaurant, you know, there is nothing against the law that allows you to not slam that door in front of the woman and child that's walking in behind you, but it's unethical and unmoral. So it's just one of those things where, you know, it just shows you
if guilty too. There's still kind of, this is not proven without a single doubt. It's definitely being prosecuted though.
But the whole reason for this initiative for the indie like tax relief is to cultivate again the UK studios, the UK talent, to give them a bit of a break. Now, should big publishers like Sony, SEGA, Warner Brothers, should they be able to take advantage of this? Really?
Yeah, they should, because you know, everybody deserves the same equal opportunity as the next person. It doesn't matter whether you're small or big. Eventually, some small companies can grow big because of those opportunities. So, you know, that's the way it is. It should be equal across the board.
All right. Anybody else have anything to chime in here?
Yeah, I wanted to say something.
Uh-oh.
I got nothing to say. Yankees are on. Let's get this going.
All right, guys. Well, in that case,
yes, I want to hear about
the Mets,
Cowboys ass.
All right, guys. Well, it's giveaway time then, and I've got a code for 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Who wants it? Well, I'm gonna make you work for it, just for a little bit. And here's the question: first person to answer correctly gets the code. Which panel member has the largest gamer score? Now, put the panel member's name in the chat with the amount of gamer score.
I'm out.
Oh, I know who it is. I
feel like I got a decent amount of gamer score, but I know I can't compete with somebody.
I don't think it's me.
Who could it be? Megatron, Shock, South, Downer.
Might be you.
Could be me. I don't know.
Check me out, Invader. Like now, I'm just like, did you check?
Yeah, he's pimping,
I
he's
ch-
pimping himself out.
Oh,
Is
that's
what
why he
he's
asked for
doing.
the
Well,
gamer
Open
tag.
yourself.
Yeah, this is
no,
a dick measuring contest.
I do. I mean, I've worked on my my gamer score. I put in the Chivo time, but come on, guys, let's see who it is. All right, but in that case, guys, I'll be waiting in the chat for the correct answer. But panel members, what have we been playing the past week?
Well, I'll start.
Question again, dude. Come on. Go ahead.
No, let me
What a
let me get this because I have to get going. My gamer, I've been playing Man of Medan. I just actually finished it. It's a game. I think I talked about it last week. Made by Supermassive. It's a game where you choose decisions and you kind of control the characters. Graphics are really good. It's definitely choppy though. Has some issues.
Isn't that with the Ashmore?
Yeah, it has Sean Ashmore. It's a pretty cool game. If you can get it on sale, I would definitely try it out. It's a different kind of game, but that's what I've been playing, and I finished it. And actually, I'm gonna maybe play after this. I want to try some Gears Horde. I haven't played it yet, so that's what I'm up to. I'm gonna play Gears Horde with Jeremy, the tax man.
Very nice.
Tim, how about some
Jets, man? That Jets fucking kicked my.
God, really? Quit hijacking. Quit hijacking.
Congratulations, though, to the 49ers, though. I have to say, South.
Yeah, baby.
Team there. LA looks.
Hey, we got that. We got a defense. Hey, they made the Rams look bad. Really bad.
I know.
That Kyle Shanahan. He's looking like a top tier coach.
Yeah, it is. All right. So what I've been playing the last week, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Listen, I've been on fucking Twitter saying, "Hey man, I need some co-op help," and it's like just crickets. I swear, if I'd have been like, "Hey, fuck Sony, this and this and that," I'd have retweets and likes and everything else. But I asked for somebody's help to play some Ghost Recon, and it's like nothing. Damn, nobody loves your boy. What the hell? Anyway,
what's going on there?
That's my rant. But anyways, I've been playing a lot of Breakpoint. It's fun, but it'll be much better with other people.
All right. Shock, what have you been playing for the past week?
I've been what do you call it? Hacked my Vita that I've had forever.
Nice.
Some new games on there, and been
I like
jumping
that
into
Vita,
Persona.
man.
Yeah, Vita is sweet once you hack that thing.
Yep.
Amazing. But yeah, I've been playing some Persona 4 Golden. That one's pretty cool. And some other, I think, retro games, and getting back into Destiny. Jump back on that, and they raise your light level to everything. So I'm like, I have just a vault full of just stuff. I have no idea what anything is, even though I've had like 2,000 hours of Destiny. Like, okay, I haven't, don't know what's going on.
Yeah, everybody's addicted to that Destiny right now. I'm sure Megatron's been on that. I know Centurion has been. Centurion, yeah, you've been playing a lot of Destiny. I know you're playing right before the show. Enjoying that?
Yeah, I've been hanging out with so many people from around the community. Mass Mayhem, Zimmy Games. We played for like 7 hours yesterday. Again, Mayhem and Alluring Assassin for a couple hours, and then some other friends of mine. The funny part is I kind of fell off the Destiny train like around when Forsaken was released, and that was because my Xbox broke. And yeah, I blew the hard drive out on my Xbox One X. But the cool part is it was a Scorpio Edition console, and Microsoft replaced it with another Scorpio Edition console. And anyway, so by the time I got that console back, that ship had sailed. But this week I've played about, I want to say about a couple hours of Greedfall, because I picked that up. I wanted to check it out. I'm a huge RPG fan, but I keep going back to Destiny. I did buy Shadowkeep. I got into the season pass thing. They've made some changes to really kind of make the grind a little bit funner than it was. You could definitely see how Activision was holding them back in a lot of ways. Now it's going to be really interesting going forward. if they can keep this steam going, because I mean, like, oh my god, everybody seems to be playing Destiny 2 all of a sudden again.
Damn, I'm gonna have to jump back on that. At the
Oh
last.
yeah, like you have your season pass now. The season pass basically works like there's 2 levels to it. There's the free. It's kind of like almost Fortnite. There's the free side to the season pass, and then there's the paid side. The paid side, each time you level up for that, the season passes are only good for about 2-3 months, and that's during right now we're in the season of the Undying. And so there's 100 levels that you can go through, and you get anything from emotes to cosmetic items to engrams, all other stuff. And those rewards increase if you get into the paid side of it. But also there's a lot more activity. The drops seem like, I remember playing originally, man, the drops just seemed off. Like you had to be really grindy. And I mean, like literally they started me out at 750, and within a day or two, I was already up to 900. So they've definitely figured out how to kind of make a good balance on the loot grind. Once you get over 900 though, oh my God, it turns into an uphill battle, but that's what I could go on forever. They've really done a really good job on kind of showing the direction that they're wanting to take this franchise. And now that Activision's out of the picture, you can definitely see a lot more of Bungie showing through.
All right. Jeremy, have you been playing anything the past week?
You had to ask again. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, I had to ask.
I've been playing Choo Choo Rocket on Apple Arcade. You guys can laugh all you want, but I'm a big Dreamcast Choo Choo Rocket guy.
Well, you were also playing Ghost Town.
I laugh at you all the time.
I choose you.
Choo Choo Choo. Yeah, I've been playing Choo Choo Rocket again on the Apple Arcade.
All right, very nice. Well, I've been heavily into Batman Arkham Asylum still. Like I'm loving the Batman, like Batman anything right now. So
where you at?
Where you at? Where you be at?
Well, I just encountered Poison Ivy.
Oh, okay. So you're getting all right. I know where you're at in the game.
Mm-hmm, yeah, or just a little bit after that. So getting pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm just really liking the atmosphere of the game, and it's just cool. Like it's really well done.
That game should have been a movie, man. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, all those story for all 3 of those games is fun. Like the Poison Ivy you're encountering now, the story of that whole situation carries over all the way to the 3rd game, Arkham Knight. And I mean, like whoever really wrote those games knew that they were wanting to have a story that carried over 3 games.
No, you know, it was a big writer that wrote the games. I can't remember his name, but I just seen it the other day, and I was like, oh shit, he wrote the game.
I'd be curious to see if any of those recent hires that went from Playground Games that were at Rocksteady there, if any of them had worked. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a few of them worked on the Arkham games. So,
well, we all know WB now has the money to hire some of these guys. You know, they're saving on their taxes.
Oh, yeah, I guess so, huh? But all right, guys, that about does it for tonight's show. And woof, man. We really went through those topics. Dang. Shout out to everyone that tuned in to watch the show tonight. And hey, if you happen to enjoy this episode, then definitely share this sucker out to your friends, your family, your cat, your pet rock, everybody.
Wait. What about the giveaway?
Well, I was just getting to that, Downer. Jeesh.
Sheesh.
But unfortunately, nobody supplied me with the correct answer in the chat.
Oh.
Because I've been keeping watch there, and unfortunately nobody supplied me. So you know what that means? The giveaway is going to be postponed until next week. But hey, you know what, guys? Thank you all for coming. We all love your presence here, and we hope to see you all next week. All right. So, Jeremy, where can everybody send you fan mail at?
I don't have any fans.
Oh, come on now. Everybody loves the Downer.
It's on Twitter at LoneMaster07.
All right. Hear that, guys? Send them fan mail there. Shock buddy. Where can everybody find you at?
Yeah, you can find me at Shock Nero on Twitter. Easy Shock on Xbox Live and PSN. But yeah, thanks for coming.
All right. South, my man. Where can everybody find you?
Mas punto.
Those are some really great places, Southbound. I'm gonna have to check you out.
How do you spell that?
Cricket. All right, Centurion, where can everybody find you at, my friend?
All right. Well, you guys can always find me on YouTube and Twitter at Centurion1307 and always kicking it here with you guys on TXR on Sundays. I also do Saltiest Gaming Podcast on Thursdays with Saltiest Gamer, and I also do the Shop Podcast with PTK Blam.
All right, fantastic groups right there. And South, you back with us or no? Bueller? All right, guys, and obviously Tim has left too to go watch his Yankees. However, I'm Invader. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Invader Gaming, and hey, of course, on Twitter at Invader_1986. Guys, as usual, it's been a blast. Thanks for watching the show. Big thank you to Matt Jones, the Black Rider. Who else do we got here? We had lots of great people just join us in. Big Lou Ravens, Wilmy Hood, all kinds of cool people. We hope to see you next week. It's been a blast, guys. See ya.
Peace.